can see as we zoom back in on that eye wall that is approaching the southwest coast of Jamaica right now. You see how close it is to the coast. Now, landfall is officially when the center of the eye reaches landfall, crosses into land there. So that's when it will officially be landfall will be called there. But you can see we're just offshore right now, but these very strong winds. We're talking about winds up over 185 miles per hour with this storm as it works its way off to the north and northeast right now. So Black River there in Jamaica, just off the coast there. So we are talking about catastrophic wind damage, storm surge, the heavy rain associated with this. So this is still a Category 5 storm with those 185 mile per hour winds. Again, at 11 a.m. it was just southeast of Negril, 30 miles southeast of Negril, and it's going to continue on that north and northeasterly track, taking it up toward Cuba. Still as a very powerful Category 4 storm. So you see the tropical warnings all throughout Jamaica there, Cuba, getting into the southeastern portions of the Bahamas as well. So we'll continue to update you on Melissa as we go through the afternoon hours, and of course on WFAA Plus as well. We'll keep you updated there. Also, now back here at home, we are talking about the cold front that's been working its way across the area, moving through now as we speak. Still warm in Fort Worth, but not for much longer. Those temperatures will start to fall. Winds already starting to pick up out of the northwest behind the front, 16 miles per hour right now, but gusting to 26. So those winds will start to increase with the speeds increasing as we go through the afternoon. 73 coming back out to Fair Park as well with those winds gusting to 22. So hold on to your hats a little bit as we get into the afternoon. It is going to be quite windy out there for us as that front moves through. Look at those temperatures out to Breckenridge and Eastland, already down into the upper 50s, 67 in Mineral Wells. Warmer out ahead of the front. We'll have some upper 70s, even 80 in Corsicana. But as the front moves through, you see the cooler air moving in behind it and those strong north and northwest winds. So as we've been telling you, this is the coolest air we've seen so far, and you'll notice the difference here, probably heading home later today. So hopefully the kids have the coats and sweaters coming home from school later today. It looks like they may need them. You see those wind gusts. Look at Bowie, already up to 40 miles per hour right now. 26 there you just saw in Fort Worth, 23 getting out to Mineral Wells. So those winds will be increasing, 37 getting out to Eastland right now. So those winds will be quite strong as we go through the afternoon, likely getting up over 40 miles per hour at times for that drive home later today. And they may ease up some as we head into this evening, but we're still talking about wind gusts up around 35 miles per hour even as we head on into this evening. So it's going to be quite breezy even overnight heading into tomorrow morning. That's going to drop those wind chills down in the 30s probably tomorrow morning in many locations. And so we're looking at the wind advisory through 6 p.m. there on Wednesday. So we'll have those winds gusting up over 40 miles per hour as you just saw. Now, a few showers can't be ruled out across portions of the area, but again, the big story, the colder air moving in along with those strong winds behind the front, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm off to our far northeastern counties as we head into the afternoon. But as we head into tonight, the skies will clear. Those winds will stay quite brisk overnight. We'll see those lows dipping down into the 40s, but when you factor in those winds tomorrow morning, you're going to feel the chill out there. Those wind chills again will be down in the 30s, so that's why we're calling for the weather alert for tomorrow morning heading on into Thursday with those strong winds. Now we'll look ahead to trick or treat. Temperatures will start to moderate a little bit as we head toward 5 p.m. on Friday. We'll have some upper 60s for you. Those south winds returning, so it's not going to feel too bad. But around 9 o'clock, we're still going to see those temperatures in the upper 50s to around 60. So maybe a light jacket or sweater underneath that costume for the trick-or-treaters heading on out on Friday. All right, here's that 14-day forecast for you with those temperatures over the weekend, getting back into the upper 70s by early next week. Low 70s on Sunday as we get that extra hour of sleep, hopefully, for most of us in the second half of that 14-day forecast. A little bit of a warm-up through most of next week before some more cool air moves in by next weekend.
We're going to start with the tropics first, just because we do have some breaking news this afternoon. Hurricane Melissa has officially made landfall on the island of Jamaica. That happened at 1 p.m. Eastern time, so noon Central time, and it happened near New Hope, Jamaica, right here on the southwestern shoreline of the island nation. So landfall is defined as when the center of the eye is over land, and you can see, again, that happened just around 1 p.m. Now we're starting to see the majority of the eye move onshore. A remarkable landfall, and here's the reason why. When we go back in history, all the way back even into the 1800s, we are able to determine how intense a hurricane is based on pressure, not wind speed, but central pressure. And you can see the top 5 strongest landfalling hurricanes in the Atlantic on record typically see those pressure values in the low 900s. And then you've got the Labor Day hurricane in the Florida Keys, 1935, at 892. Today, Melissa tied that record, at least preliminarily, with a central pressure also of 892 millibars. So that would make it tied for the most intense hurricane landfall on record. It's not the most intense hurricane ever to form because, again, this just has to do with the landfall point, because other hurricanes have been more intense, but they have weakened before they've actually made landfall. There's the caveat with that statistic. Bottom line, though, a violent storm. This is the strongest storm on planet Earth right now. Winds at 185 miles per hour, gusting to 220 miles per hour, again with that central pressure at 892 millibars. It's not over yet. It moves across the island over the next 3 to 5 hours. Then it's back over open water, probably as a weakened Category 4 hurricane. From there, sets its sights on eastern Cuba, moves across the eastern half of that nation, and then by Wednesday, probably Wednesday afternoon, gets into the Turks and Caicos before racing up towards Bermuda, getting into the end of the week. Additional rainfall totals to come. Definitely going to be on the lower end for Jamaica, probably another 6 to 10 inches. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of rain, but the grand total for some spots will be about 40 inches. So a lot of that rain has already fallen. And then beyond that, Cuba will probably end up with about 10 to 20 inches of rain. The reason why it's not going to be quite as much up there is because by the time the storm gets there, it will be moving faster. Remember, this storm has been sitting just to the south of Jamaica for the last few days. So the strongest winds are around the eye. Remember, in the eye, the center of the storm, that's where you get the really calm conditions. So around the eye, around that center is where we got those winds gusting over 100 miles per hour. The worst of it goes to Montego Bay here on the north end of the island later this afternoon, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. From there, moves up towards Cuba. So again, areas around the eye wall could see, sustained winds 100 miles an hour, 110. But it's really that immediate center right on the eye wall where we could see wind gusts upwards of 150, 60, 70 miles per hour. Notice the U.S. Naval Station here, Guantanamo Bay, you're not going to see hurricane force winds here. I think they stay at tropical storm force going through the day tomorrow, or rather the day today. And then by tomorrow, the storm starts to exit Cuba and move towards the Turks and Caicos, where hurricane conditions will continue up there. Now, back here at home, weather's been quiet. That will also change as we get into the afternoon. Temperatures in the mid 80s right now, feels more like the upper 80s. And here's a look at the map. And the reason why I'm showing this to you is because back to the north and west, we've got a big cold front on the way. So we're in the mid to upper 80s this afternoon. Back across the Panhandle, the High Plains, West Texas, 50s and 60s as your current temperatures. So a very powerful fall front on the way for the afternoon. Nothing on radar quite yet. Couple showers now just starting to pop up through the Bryan College Station area. There's your actual front, though, still back towards the Metroplex. A lot of rain with this is going to stay away from our area, but we do work in the chance for some isolated, feisty storms getting into the afternoon. So here it is on Future Track. There's your storm development here. I would say around 2, 3, 4 o'clock. Spotty downpours, couple claps of thunder. But as that line pushes south, this is where the storms may start to get feisty. And I think that we could see maybe the potential for a couple of severe thunderstorms. It's not going to be quite as widespread as it was over the weekend, but it does look like that the dynamics and the pieces are there in the atmosphere to support a severe weather threat. And I really think it's going to be focused from the city and points east. Watch what happens now getting into the evening. By 6 p.m., we're talking about a pretty strong line of storms moving towards the coast. So Galveston down towards Freeport, we could be seeing maybe the potential for some damaging wind gusts. And an isolated tornado is also not out of the question, along with hail. So every threat is on the table for us this afternoon and this evening. I know it's kind of a last-minute severe weather threat, but that's just how things are working out today. It looks like temperatures will be warm enough to support it. And the Storm Prediction Center is on board with that. And so they've increased the threat level. We were talking about this morning and last night seeing the green level 1. About an hour ago, not even, they increased the threat level now to a level 2. So that goes from eastern Harris County down to Galveston and then east towards Beaumont. So that includes Liberty County and parts of Polk County as well. Isolated hail, damaging wind gusts, and an isolated tornado threat, again, all on the table for us as we get through the afternoon and the evening. Here are the weather impacts kind of stacked up. Street flooding will not be a concern. We're not going to see a lot of rain out of this system, unfortunately. Again, we could still use the rain. But again, these are fast-moving showers and storms, so it's wind damage, the large hail threat. Those are the two main threats. And the potential, the tornado potential is low, but it's not zero. So that'll be something we'll have to keep an eye on as well. So because of this, we've issued a weather impact alert. That goes into effect at 3 p.m. and it stays in effect until 7 p.m., which is about when we think these storms will start to move offshore. And by that point, temperatures really start to drop across the area. We will go from the upper 80s here through southeast Texas this afternoon down into the low and mid 50s by tomorrow morning. And with a stiff north wind, it'll actually feel in a few spots cooler. We're actually going to have a wind chill tomorrow morning in the upper 40s. So definitely worthy of a jacket for the kids at the bus stop, even for mom and dad going to work. I think it's going to be a brisk morning for a lot of us. Temperatures are going to fall from the upper 80s today down to the low and mid 50s by tomorrow morning. So a real Texas turnaround on the way for us. And the wind will also be the big story. This usually takes a backseat to the weather story, but I really think that you're going to be talking about this tomorrow. The gusts as that line moves in this evening, 30, 35 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning, we could see gusts around 20 miles per hour. And then again, by tomorrow afternoon, 30, 35, 40 mile per hour gusts, not out of the question. So some really gusty winds tomorrow. Coupled with the cooler temperatures, it's going to finally feel like fall here in southeast Texas. All right, 10-day temperatures look like this. We're going to go from 88 today down to 67, your high temperature. Tomorrow, 68 Thursday, low 70s for Halloween, mid 70s Saturday, and then back closer to normal, upper 70s to near 80 degrees as we get into next week. But the real fall chill comes in with these overnight temperatures. Oof. 54 tomorrow morning, but upper 40s Thursday and Friday morning in the city, which means we could see maybe low to mid 40s in some of the outlying areas. So some really cold weather for October standards coming up. We do get back into the mid 50s here Saturday, Sunday, and then we'll probably stay close to normal with the overnight temperatures in the 50s and low 60s into next week. Traveling tomorrow in the Northeast, cloudy for New York, a couple showers for Richmond, temperatures across the board in the 50s. Southeast, our powerful cold front that goes through today will be bringing rain and storms from Atlanta through Nashville into Little Rock. Warm ahead of the front in the 70s and 80s, chilly behind it in the 50s and 60s. Gorgeous weather here across the state. No humidity, 60s and 70s for a lot of us, 50s for Amarillo, windy up towards Oklahoma City, showers still for Kansas City, Springfield, St. Louis, sunny and cool for Chicago, widespread 50s across the upper Great Plains. Out west we go, 91 for Phoenix, a lot of sunshine, a beautiful day for you. 83 in LA, what a spectacular looking day out towards the west coast. 81 San Francisco, 57 Denver, 60 for Salt Lake, and then the Pacific Northwest, some mountain snow getting into the Sierras and the Rockies all the way towards the Canadian border. 52 for Spokane with showers, dry for the west coast, and then the Intermountain West actually looks okay as well ahead of that front with temperatures in the 50s. There's your 7-day forecast. So scattered severe storms for this afternoon, 88. We dropped to 67 then Wednesday. We dropped to 48 Thursday morning. We get to 68 by the afternoon. Halloween on Friday looks beautiful. We start off at 48 though. 72 is your high temperature. Trick or treat time, 50s to about 60s, so it'll be brisk in the evening. 75 with sunshine Saturday. The clocks go back 1 hour this weekend. Don't remember, you get an extra hour of sleep. And then we get back to 80 degrees as we head into the start of next week. So all in all, not a bad looking forecast coming up.
Weather-wise, it looks great. I think temperatures will be perfect, hovering right around the lower 70s and upper 60s for Halloween night. I think at about 7 o'clock, 70 degrees, and then into the 60s pretty fast with the air so dry. The sunset will be at about 6:48 p.m. under a clear sky. So overall, nice conditions for Friday night. Hurricane Melissa, Category 5, made landfall in the last half hour in southwestern Jamaica. 185-mile-an-hour wind. It's gaining more speed, but still overall a destructive and catastrophic storm. Pressure down to 892 millibar, the fourth lowest pressure in Atlantic hurricane history. Category 5 status, and based on wind speed, take a look at this, how it ranks in history. Hurricane Allen back in 1980 had the highest wind speed in recorded history at 190 miles an hour. Labor Day hurricane that hit Galveston back in 1935, 185, and Melissa ties that in addition to 4 other storms to that. So this is one of the strongest hurricanes on record moving into Jamaica as we speak. Right now, 83 and mostly clear skies here in San Antonio, mostly clear conditions and very dry air. Temperatures are going to get a lot cooler. At the moment, lower to middle 80s. I think we'll warm up a couple more degrees over the next 1 to 2 hours, and then the cold front moves through by about 3 and 4 p.m. Right now, 51 in Amarillo. Compare that to 93 at Brownsville, a huge and stark temperature different across Texas right now, and the frontal boundary is moving through the hill country, and here's the hour by hour. By about 3 and 4 o'clock, you'll notice it and feel it. By this evening, winds will start to be a little bit breezy. You'll see and feel the winds 15 to 25 miles an hour with the occasional gust near 30 to 40 miles an hour. Tonight through tomorrow morning, wind speeds increase in speed and temperatures go down. Tomorrow morning, lower 50s widespread. Not much cloud cover out there. The air is going to be so dry. Tomorrow afternoon, upper 60s, near 70, going to be a beautiful day, but probably going to need a sweater all day long because of the winds. They'll be a little gusty. And then late tomorrow night into early Thursday, temperatures get even colder. Anticipate middle 40s and even some upper 30s, anywhere from like northwest Bexar County to Kerrville to Fredericksburg. There will be a few 38s to 39s on the map, which would make it the strongest cold front of the season so far. Now, as a result, the byproduct of these winds will be an elevated fire concern. A red flag warning will be in effect tomorrow afternoon because with the wind speed so gusty and the ongoing drought, extreme fire danger is expected for tomorrow. So please, if you can, avoid driving over tall grass, any outdoor burning, any burning of the trash outdoors. So please avoid that at all costs because the winds are not going to make it any easier outside. Halloween looks great, 46 to 77 degrees under a sunny sky. This weekend looks perfect as well. And even better, we gain an hour of sleep. We fall back. So more sleep and perfect weather is on the way this weekend. Is going to be awesome, Sarah.
We are still tracking Hurricane Melissa as it barrels down on the west side of Jamaica. Of course, this is one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes ever. So this is going to continue to make landfall here in the next probably hour to hour and a half. I think that's when they'll officially call it. But as you can see, it's already moving into the coastline there. It will continue up to the north and east as we head into the next couple of days here, moving across eastern Cuba and then eventually through those eastern areas of the Bahamas, and eventually it will calm down to a Category 2 and impact portions of Bermuda, or at least that's where our current look is here for that forecast cone. So our strongest hurricane or Atlantic hurricanes, here is a list of the top 3: Wilma, Gilbert, and then the Labor Day storm of 1935, which is unnamed because it happened so long ago. We used to not even name those hurricanes. But then Melissa, the strongest millibars down to 892, which actually matches that Labor Day storm. So, of course, we put those little asterisks next to it. That could change as that continues to make landfall here in the next couple of hours. Now, closer to home, we're dealing with a cold front, and it is knocking on the door of the hill country, actually right at this moment, kicking up a few showers as it does so, but mostly what we're going to notice is some of these clouds moving on in. Sometimes we can see fun roll clouds come in with a cold front, and it's a nice clear day out there, so I think we will see that. Wind speeds and gusts across our area. We've got half of the winds coming out of the south and east, 23 to 21 miles per hour there, and then half of our winds on the other side in the west coming out of the north and west there as that cold front pushes on through and switches that wind flow. Here's a look at the radar up towards KIII and down towards Burnett. You can see a little bit of that backscatter coming back. I think mostly that is that roll cloud coming through, and it does have a lot of moisture in it. Maybe we could see a couple showers as it does move on through, but likely not going to see very much precipitation with this cold front. So right now we're sitting at 82 in LaGrange, 80 degrees here in Austin, and starting to cool down temperatures over towards Burnett as it is approaching the hill country there. And of course, those wind speeds are picking up as it moves on through. So for our Wednesday, we're talking about tomorrow. After that cold front moves through here in the next couple of hours, our wind speeds are still going to be very elevated throughout the day tomorrow, and our temperatures are not going to be as high. We're likely to only get to about 68 or 69 degrees. I don't think we're going to hit that 70-degree mark. And of course, our dew points will be very low. Our wind speeds will be very high. We also are in the middle of a severe to extreme drought in a lot of places here in central Texas. So the National Weather Service has issued a fire weather watch for our Wednesday. And also because of that, we here at KVUE have issued a weather impact alert going from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. So make sure you're avoiding those sparks, because if a wildfire were to develop tomorrow, it would be very hard to contain. All right, your 7-day forecast looks really nice for Halloween as well as the UT game at home this weekend. And then we track those clocks back for Saturday into Sunday, and it looks like a pretty nice weekend ahead.
Category 5 Hurricane Melissa, now the third strongest on record in terms of low pressure, area of low pressure at 892 millibars. You guys, that is insane. I'm going to cover this in full after I get through our local weather, which is also very interesting. So stick with me here for just a couple of minutes. Lots to cover, including Melissa. Okay, so right now there is a front moving across our viewing area. It is located here in our central counties. Winds now shifting out of the west, here shortly shifting out of the north for the entirety of the viewing area and going up, up, up. Right now, winds are at about 10, 15 miles an hour, but these flags are likely to be taken down here shortly by the staff there at KIII Regional because it is going to get very windy. Wind advisory is already out in effect from noon all the way through basically dinner time tomorrow. Tomorrow, winds even higher. So the next 24, 36 hours or so going to be very windy across central Texas. Once a front does get here, by the way, temperatures will fall behind it. Right now, it is a muggy 78 looking out over KIII right now. Heavy air in place pre-cold front. Post-cold front, you can see Panhandle and north of I-20 sitting in the 50s in terms of temperatures. Now, it's not going to be that drastic for us, but we will see temperatures falling, and it will be cold tomorrow morning. If you haven't quite yet, you want to get your coats out for the next couple of mornings. We're going to have wind chill factor in the upper 30s, lower 40s, and actual temperatures sitting in the 40s for a couple of mornings. So live look at temperatures right now. You can see our northwestern quadrant in the 60s, the rest of the viewing area a mid to upper 70s, and the winds are shifting as I speak. You can see Llano to Lampasas to Gatesville now a northwesterly flow, so that's where the front is currently situated. There is some upper level clouds and maybe a couple of sprinkles hitting the ground, but the great majority of us do not see rainfall, no accumulating rainfall, just a couple of sprinkles possible as the winds pick up. Going to be out of the north, partly cloudy skies, and those upper level clouds basically blowing those ice crystals way high up in the air. Other than that, it is relatively quiet, just that wind shift out of the north. It's going to get windy for a couple of days and cooler weather in store as we approach Halloween and a very jam-packed weekend. Live look at high temperatures this afternoon. This is going to be highly dependent on the front moving through over the next couple of hours. So you're either going to end up lower to middle 70s or you're going to end up probably right around 80, 82 degrees. And again, it depends on where the front is situated this afternoon. But overall, it's not going to get hot this afternoon and we will see temperatures falling. Post-frontal boundary, we're going to see some winds gusting upwards of 25, 30 miles an hour here shortly, but especially the further we get throughout the afternoon and early evening hours. You could see we could even potentially see some 35, 36 mile an hour wind gusts. Speaking of that, it'll be breezy in the overnight hours and then winds will pick up and approach 40 miles an hour. That's why we call the weather impact alert for the inconvenience and just letting you know. You have decorations outdoors, whatever the case may be, just noting. We don't oftentimes get 35, 40 mile an hour winds, and we will throughout the day tomorrow on Wednesday, but winds already picking up as we speak as the front is moving across our viewing area right now. Overnight lows. Let's talk about wind chill. So this is actual overnight lows. Subtract 510 off these numbers. That's what it will feel like. So right around 40 degrees. Yes, you want a coat for tomorrow morning. I would recommend it anyway. Low 50 in Gatesville, 46 Comanche, 52 for Cameron. But again, it is going to feel significantly cooler than that with the winds gusting up to 30 miles an hour out of the north post front from today. So partly to mostly cloudy skies, sprinkles possible, especially the further southeast that you are throughout the afternoon hours, and temperatures fall. I mean, right now, some of us are right at about 80 degrees, and we wake up in the upper 40s tomorrow morning. So it's a pretty potent cold front, but no significant precipitation for the next few days. We stay cool, and we stay dry, and we stay windy. Winds will finally start to die down for Halloween. That is the good news. Speaking of Halloween, by the way, I love this new graphic right here. We are going to have gorgeous weather, partly cloudy skies. We will be sitting in the 60s right around peak trick or treat. So that's great weather in my opinion. Let's touch on Melissa quickly. Category 5 hurricane making landfall right now. You can see a well-defined eye. Montego Bay going to be impacted drastically by this. Mountainous region going to be impacted drastically. The third strongest Atlantic Basin hurricane now on record of all time. Pressure at 892 millibars. The winds are sustained at 185 miles an hour. They're catching winds gusting above 200 miles an hour. Devastating for western Jamaica. You can see Kingston over here, most populated area, thankfully isn't getting the brunt of it. They are getting landslides though to the north of there. This is a mountainous region. So you're going to be hearing about the flooding, the landslides, obviously the wind impacts right around where the eye wall is situated as it slowly moves up to the east of Montego Bay, in between there and Ocho Rios over the next day or so. Devastating impacts. You're going to hear about this worldwide news. It is not going to impact the northeast U.S., by the way. It's not going to impact us at all. Just noting that as well. So thinking about Jamaica throughout the day today as that hurricane just made landfall ahead of the noon hour. Drastic impacts to be projected. We'll talk about it in our 6+ stream in the back half of this hour. By the way, if you don't have it, you can download it on your TV for free. Weather impact alert again is for the wind tomorrow, up to 40 miles an hour out of the north. And you can see a cool Halloween ahead, and we roll our clocks back this weekend.
Today is still nice and hot. We are going to see a temperature around 95 degrees. That will likely shatter the record, the current record, which is 92 degrees. Then a cold front comes in and really changes things up. We're going to be about 20 degrees cooler tomorrow afternoon with a temperature around 75 degrees. So this is a pretty strong cold front that we are anticipating. So it's kind of a two-punch. The first one is going to initially drop our temperatures a lot, but the second one is going to really shift our wind more so out of the northwest and bring in that drier air, which is why you see this fire weather watch across South Texas, and then the wind picking up is why there is a gale warning across our coastal waterways, including our local bays. So keep that in mind. 44 degrees right now in Amarillo, but we're in the 70s ahead of the front. 69 degrees right now in Corpus Christi. So a couple of important impacts to consider is the humidity is going to be very low behind this front. That's going to create high fire danger tomorrow. And then the lotion and the chapstick are going to be needed because it's going to feel very dry on your skin as well. You're going to notice it being dry, and it's windy on top of that, and that dries out your skin as well. So be ready for the front. It is going to come with a chance for some rain and even an isolated thunderstorm. So that's going to move in this afternoon for areas like B and Live Oak County. It could be as early as 3 o'clock. You start to see your wind shifting and a chance for a little bit of rain. Rain chances enhance near the coastline. So Padre Island may see a little bit more rain than areas inland, but that would be closer to 8 o'clock for areas of Corpus Christi, and then 11 o'clock. So between 4 and 11 is our best chance of storms. Then look at all of this dry air coming in. This is coming from West Texas, off the Rocky Mountains. This is very dry conditions that we will be with us on Wednesday morning, and it's going to be about 59 degrees as well. So temperatures are back in the 50s. So here's just a recap of everything you need to know with this front. 50s tonight, 20 degrees cooler Wednesday afternoon. Isolated storms along the front. Again, that timeline is 4 to 11 p.m. tonight. It's not a lot of rainfall, but there is a chance there could be some stronger wind gusts within some of those storms. Wind overall without thunderstorms will be out of the north-northwest tomorrow, 15 to 25 miles per hour. Some gusts could get up to 45 miles per hour, but 35 is likely, and that's what's creating the fire danger and the rough seas that we are anticipating. Now that gale warning is in place from 7 p.m. tonight all the way through 7 p.m. Wednesday. So you'll see by 8 o'clock is when we see Corpus Christi winds shifting out of the east-northeast. Then those winds pick up around 35 mile per hour gusts by midnight. That's out of the north. A couple of key reminders is that's also going to intensify our waves. So we're going to see pretty high waves pick up. So right now we have southerly winds. We've got 2 to 4 foot waves. Then as the front moves in, offshore we could have some 8 to 12 foot swells, but closer to shore 4 to 6 foot waves by the time we're at 2 p.m. We'll have an offshore wind, but it's going to be a strong offshore wind. So that's going to be about 20 miles per hour sustained tomorrow afternoon at Port Aransas. I expect the strongest wind tomorrow afternoon to be along the coast and our offshore waters. As we get into 7 o'clock and into Thursday, winds lighten up quite a bit. We'll still have a northerly wind on Thursday, and it starts to return back out of the east with an easterly component into the weekend, and then a little bit northeast by next Sunday. So that's a look at the waves. There is kind of a secondary front or another front that may try to move in with us over the weekend. But right now on this Wednesday, or for Wednesday, it's the fire danger we're really watching. 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., low humidity, gusty winds, dry vegetation. With all of those things combined, no outdoor burning should be done tomorrow, even if you're not in a burn ban. We're going to see extremely low humidity. We're talking 15%, which is very low for us. Typically, the lowest we get in the afternoon is about 40% on a normal day-to-day basis. So in your 7-day forecast, we're highlighting that Wednesday for the very high fire danger and the windy conditions. and a cool down, by the way. 95 to 75 is going to feel quite nice, but again, it's going to be much, much drier. You will notice that on your skin. And then as we head into Friday, Halloween, 79 degrees with a low in the 50s.